My mom told me not to talk to strangers on the internet, but I'm glad I didn't listen. We are the Certified Noonas, your sisters in the love of Asian entertainment.
Hi, I'm Amanda.
I'm Jessie.
I'm Natalia.
And I'm Sky.
And today we're taking a little adventure into the world of crime? Maybe?
Crime?
There's been a crime, but in a new sense, like, because we're going to a different country. We're going to Thailand for the new show that just is airing at the moment called Manner of Death, which is based on a novel of the same name that I think I am the only person who has read it.
Yeah.
So I do know where this show is going.
I've been burned too many times this year by Thai books that I read that got turned into shows, and then the shows weren't as good as the books. So I was like, I'm gonna not read this one so that I can just enjoy
that's just a Thai thing. That's a general.
That's just
thing.
a general thing.
It's true.
And I hate to be pessimistic, but I feel like this might be another one of those. But it's okay because we're having a good time, and it has two people I really like in it. So I
will preface by saying you guys were very jazzed for this show.
I was very jazzed for this show. Though the reason that I was jazzed for this show isn't so much that I was like, oh, the plot of this show's gonna be fantastic. Full disclosure here. I was jazzed for this show purely for the cast.
Same. Okay, the cast, and it's not set in college and they're not engineering students. So that's a really nice change of pace over what we often watch from Thailand. So
Thailand likes to make dramas about engineering students discovering that they might be bisexual. So we're kind of done with that plot. We've seen it several times now. It's time to move on. And so they've decided to with a crime drama.
Starring our favorites, Max and Tall.
Okay, yes, they are my favorite, Max and Tall. I'm not, okay. Let's not get into the opinions yet. Let's just do the brief, what is this show about?
Let's actually say.
Yeah.
It's like a spoiler warning. Currently, it's up to 4 episodes right now. At the time we're airing, one of them being on VIP. Mm-hmm. And we're going to definitely talk about the first episode, but it might bleed into the second and third episode, so potential spoiler warnings up to then, but really one episode spoiler.
And to be honest, a lot happens in the first episode, so it's in terms of the plot, there's not much to spoil so far. Don't worry. We're not spoiling much.
But just as if you really don't want to hear anything about it, this might be a
wait till after you watch. Wait till after you watch.
Bookmark us and come back.
Or the thing that we can say, just so you know what the show is about, it is about a medical examiner and a science teacher. So it's about a medical examiner who moves back to a small town where he lived when he was younger to become the coroner. And active doctor. Yeah, and he's also, it's a small town, so, you gotta do...
And he hasn't been there for a while. It's 15 years after
it's been a while. So, he, is just connecting back with people that he knew and, learning about his new colleagues and settling into town. There's, but he has a little bit of a secret, and his secret is he's gay, but he really gives it away really quickly upon getting drunk. I would just like to say in the novel, he keeps it real close to the chest for a long time.
They tried very hard to, make you think that for, all of 2 seconds with his, best friend from his childhood days, but they very quickly, spoil that mystery for you. You're why'd you even make it seem okay?
Yeah. No, and I totally, watching the first episode, I did not get at all that he was supposed to be closeted or keeping it into, because he would make he bumps into his one friend and he's like, I've never had that problem,
with women,
being attracted to women or something, and you're okay. And I was just okay, obviously all of his friends know he's gay, and then to find out supposedly he's
literally
hiding it. I was like, really? Okay.
As like, since I have read the novel that it is based on, in the beginning of the novel, he actually has a girlfriend who doesn't know that he's gay, but is confused as to why he never wants to like have sex with her or like kiss her or anything. And he's like, oh, I'm just too busy at work. And it's like, okay, boy, let your beard go. A beard only works if they know their beard.
Yeah, if they don't know you're being shitty. Like, you're actually being shitty.
You're just being a bad person.
Because you cannot be, like, with someone and still be closeted. So, like...
Yeah.
And in the novel, he actually gets called out for it by like, another person. So, and he does apologize. Then, he goes to this incredibly... first he has lunch with his old friend at this cafe that has the creepiest bear topiary in the background, just with the searing dead eyes.
I did not notice the bear topiary.
No, that was like the first thing I saw. I was like, whoa, that bear topiary is unsettling.
Well, it used to be small, and now it's big, so I guess they have like room for bear topiaries now.
And then they all go to this birthday party at the most extra restaurant.
Okay, I was like it's freaking Gatorland. Like, it's the entry to Gatorland in Florida is that thing, that giant tacky alligator mouth that you walk into. And I was like, this is a classy joint? Like, what?
No, I actually looked into it. That is a real place. That is a real restaurant that people go to. And it was just like...
Might as well.
Okay.
It's there.
I absolutely believe it's a real place. It just feels like the kind of place you take your kids, not have your fancy like retirement dinner or whatever. Like, it just, there was a disconnect there for me.
He then is called in. He witnesses a fight between his friend and his friend's boyfriend, a guy he kissed at the club the previous night. And then the next morning, she's dead. Apparently having hung herself.
Did we mention that it starts off with that?
Yes. It starts off with him going to the crime scene. Now,
but you don't contextually know who it is. See the person.
Yeah. What's actually kind of interesting, since I've read the novel, she doesn't actually know her in the novel. Like, in the novel, they're not friends. Oh. Like, so he has literally, like, I don't know why they decided, I guess, to add like
layers
or something, but there was enough layers like in the actual book that this is one of those things where it's like, why did you do this? Because
it feels like the kind of thing, I guess it's a small town, so maybe there's not options, but I'm feeling like if I was him and I just saw my best friend's body, I would have to, like, he should have to recuse himself or something, right? Like, that can't be okay. Like,
no, it's actually not. Like,
no, it's 100% not. Which is why it becomes so confusing to me that they did this, because in the novel, he's just really good at his job. And so but like, everyone knows that he's friends with this girl like, they all know that they're friends, and they're still like, yeah, it's fine. Like, do the autopsy on your childhood friend.
You would think that, like, maybe they were trying to make it an issue.
Yeah, but they haven't.
That, like, as a conflict of interest to be friends with her and also autopsy her, like.
Right.
When you read the thing about it, and it says that, you know, he gets, I think in the description, it says that he, like, they try to convince him to, you know, call it a suicide, when he's like, no, it's clearly a murder. Which, if she, like, her being his friend, you'd think that would be a lot easier for them to make that call then too. Yes, we know you don't want to believe she would kill herself because she's your friend, right? But like, it kind of takes away a little bit of he's actually doing his job properly, and calls that into question a little bit.
Yeah. And he's a lot more suspicious of the dude in the novel. Like, I mean, real suspicious of the dude. Like, he's like, this dude fucking did it. I know he's involved. Like, maybe he didn't kill her himself, but he's just not as suspicious. Like, it takes a lot more.
In the novel, has he already kissed the guy at this point?
No, they've never met before that morning.
Okay, I will say this is part of like a little like about like opinions on it. This is where like you can see it's not a very cohesively written show. The scene in where he sees her and him at the party and that scene, immediately everything that like he does and says and like reacts to, he's focused on that guy, thinks he's bad news. And then it just like completely changes out of the blue. And then they also, the show does this thing where they try to make you think he's really bad, but like very cheesy villain bad.
But and
like, what's going on?
So I think that a lot of this, and it's like I feel kind of bad for the actors in the show because they're doing the best. It's that sort of show where you're watching and you're like, you're trying to make this work. I feel you. Like, I feel you trying to make this work. You're doing the best.
And you guys have seen them act elsewhere.
They're good actors. They're good actors. So it's just like, okay.
No, and like, it's not like them being bad at it. It's like stuff like the like bad guy is looking back or something, and then the music will get really cheesy. And it doesn't actually like reflect anything. It's like, it's like they try to make it look like maybe it's in the viewpoint of the medical examiner looking at him and being suspicious, and that's what he sees. But it's just like this random thing. You're like, you're trying to bait us into thinking he's bad just in this one moment because you can't make any of the other parts work for what you are trying to do, which I don't know where they're trying to go, so I don't know what that is.
I also don't know where they're trying to go with this. Like, and even as someone who's like read the novel, I'm like they change an intrinsic part of like the plot that I'm just now like, okay, like I get how they're still fitting in the original plot, but it no longer really works, right? Because the book is a very tightly written novel. It's good. It's a good novel. I really enjoyed it. It's on Meb Market for anyone who wants to read it.
And what is that?
Meb Market is basically a Thai novel, like ebook thing. It's mostly in Thai, but they do have like a few more popular novels translated into English. So you can read it there. And I'm sure it'll show up elsewhere eventually.
Kind of feels like when you're watching it as if they took that novel, they cast Max and Tull, and then because of Max and Tull's popularity, they're trying to put things into it for the fans of the Max Tull pairing, and like,
but failing, sort of.
Yeah, like
not doing it
not going cohesive, and they're definitely struggling with music. Like that first club scene when they kiss, and it's like
I will say, okay, the sound editing on this show is a fucking nightmare.
It's
like
so
it is
bad.
a nightmare. I was watching it and literally I was like, I feel bad for all the actors in it. I really feel bad.
This is not a spoiler, but like on the end of episode 3, the music that they're playing is ridiculous.
It's so bad.
It's so disoriented, and it's like you're like, okay, I get where you're trying to be like heated, but there's actually like things that you're supposed to do. Like you're supposed to like, if you want to like cause tension for the audience with like sound, you literally have to like match heartbeats and like because it like affects you actually like as a person. And they were just like trying to just do this random thing, and then it like completely changed into the like the ending credits song, which doesn't reflect the like what was going on. And you're like, what is going on? This is like a mind messing like craziness.
Like, the sound editing on this show is a mess. I just feel really bad because this clearly feels like a show that just has been managed poorly. You know what I mean? Like, and just like slapped together, like without any care.
I have to admit, I rewatched the first episode today, and I was like, it felt like it was really dragging. So I popped it up to like, you can on WeTV, you can watch it like at 1.5 times speed. So, which was fine until there was like a little girl in the hospital talking to him, and suddenly it was Chipmunk Town, and it was it was pretty squirrely going on there. I was like, I had to take a moment, but everything else, I was like, okay, good. This is a pace I can work with.
Yeah.
So, since you gals do watch a lot more Thailand shows, you're also saying compared to the typical like people shouldn't think that the bad sound editing or the quality or any of this is indicative, right?
No, like
I mean, it's normal to some, but usually those are like web dramas that are like real low budget, low quality. And this clearly isn't low budget because the actors they've got in it, maybe they spent all their budget on their actors. Like, I don't know.
No, I'm not even talking about like the main, like not just the main two, like the other actors in it are well done.
The girl who ends up dying, she's a great actor. Like that actually, like her scene with him at the like restaurant, she was obviously supposed to come across as someone who had like really pined for him for a while because she kept that book for it like from him for a while. Yeah. And she didn't come across as super crazy. Like it wasn't like she was like a fan of him. It was just a very real love, but holding back because she wanted to keep the relationship as it is too, and didn't want to mess it up. And she's only in it for, that episode.
That's what I was saying when I was rewatching it today and I was taking notes. I was like, Jane is my favorite part of this episode, and she's dead.
Yeah, she seemed well loved by her students, and
I know.
Okay, fine. I also found it was weird in the very beginning of the first episode. They started to do like a voiceover thing where he was like essentially narrating what he was doing, and it literally lasted for like 4 or 5 lines, and then they just decided to can it. And it's like very clearly, it's like he's like, because he's like driving in the car and he's like, I'm back after 15 years and blah 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 blah, and that's it. That's the end of it. Hasn't come back.
All you get. That's all you get. No, it's like, really weird. Like the choices that they're making are very confusing.
No, I'm glad they don't have it because it was so stupid. Because it was like, I'm like talking like this is like supposed to be like a nice idyllic place and blah 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 blah, and the tone, and I work as a medical examiner and that's a like light happy thing, blah blah blah. And they're literally passing by the place where someone is dying, and like you're like, what the fuck is this tone? What is happening?
What I thought was gonna happen in that moment, I thought they were gonna have that tone, and then he was gonna like come across.
That would have actually been good. That would have been.
He was driving and he even was like looking over his shoulder as he was
the
driving,
side.
and I thought he was like seeing her dying on the corner or something. He was gonna like go help her or something.
Or hearing sirens. No.
Because that would have been, because it would have like then stopped the like la 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 that was
Oh. What sort of frustrates me about this show is that it actually does have a lot of potential behind it.
Oh yeah, it does. It definitely does.
See how the show, like you could see how the show should be good, and just how they're just fucking it up. And I'm not saying like the actors are fucking it up. I'm saying the writer and the directors are fucking it up.
Or
even
producers,
like,
whoever it was, someone is fucking it up.
Even like the nurses, like they're great too. They totally sell everything they're doing. Like
the students,
like the actor who plays Oat, the
little kid,
MD, he's great. Like
he's so good, and
him.
like. No, he's like well known in our we have a little book club chat that's not really a book club. It's just a Thai TV watching club, but we call it a book club to like make us,
feel better.
It's a fan fiction reading club.
Yeah, we read a lot of fan fiction. So
and you read a lot of subtitles, so there you go.
Like, we're reading something. But like he was in another show that we all watched like earlier this year, and we just love him. We just think that he's like the sweetest little bean. I feel like the actors are getting fucking betrayed by the production team.
Honestly though, okay, character development, or maybe not development, but character lines and flow, that intern, the medical examiner intern character might be the best aside from Jane. Yeah. So putting Jane aside for obvious reasons. The intern has a lot to do. Like
I know.
Yeah.
He gets a pretty good solid, like I honestly don't see anything wrong with anything they have given him specifically.
Yeah, and I do like that, like, because I think there has to be just like as part of just the genre itself, within like medical shows, there has to be an explanation of what is happening to the audience within the context of the show, and so it gets a little bit, you have to figure out how to do that within the script, and I think they're doing it pretty well because of that character being the one who's learning everything, so the audience knows what's going on through that. So I like that little part about it.
And I gotta admit, the guy who plays like the inspector, I like him.
Oh yeah.
On a few levels, if you get my drift.
but again, like his character. So again, a well-written character within the show. Like I can't really think of anything. They haven't biffed his character.
Yeah.
No.
Stuff. Like it's been fine.
Yeah.
But it's just when you think about the flow of the main characters is mainly like, ooh.
It's kind of almost like separately there's a lot of good stuff, and then they put all that good stuff and then tried to tie it together, and they're like, oh, this can't fit.
And it's just like it's interesting because in the novel, like the flirting, all that stuff that happens way later. Things are happening at a quicker pace, but still being weirdly slow in the show.
I mean, there is 14 episodes, so it's like I feel like you could have waited even longer for the flirting and stuff, especially this being the genre that it is, because it's definitely trying to be a crime mystery show. It's not trying to be a comedic show, and it's definitely like you can tell it's pulling all of its like inspiration from CSI. That's like the kind of show that they're trying to do, but it's just not working well because then they're trying to like force the relationship in at a weird spot where you're like, this kind of feels like they don't care about each other at all, and it's not coming from like the character or the actor's chemistry. It's from where it's placed in the episode. We're just here, he's new, and like you're seeing him. What's going on? What is this? What's happening? Do they know each other from years ago? You know.
I will say this: like, if you really want to like enjoy the story, read the novel. If you just want to enjoy Max Tull, keep going, man. I'm sure they'll get it nice and spicy. They always do. The two of them are ridiculous on screen, so
they're ridiculous when they're not on screen.
That's true.
They
basically call each other their husbands. Like they really play up the ship. They had a fan meeting in Japan where the fan meeting was them staging a wedding, and all of the fans were guests at their wedding.
And ever since this quotation mark fake wedding, they've called each other husband ever since their fake wedding.
Suspicious. Fake. But regardless, fake. Yeah, we have a good laugh about them all the time, and it's really sad because the guy who plays the main character, Tull, is actually like a genius. Like he's in real life. Like, and he was supposed to start doing his master's degree at Columbia this year, but because of COVID, he couldn't. So they made this show instead.
I think the idea was that this was going to be their sort of like goodbye to the ship, kind of a like, you know, bookend to that chapter of their careers and stuff. And it's kind of not turning out to be as exciting as we would have liked.
Is this their first like kind of mystery crime thriller? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's kind of sad too. This is the first introduction into it.
I think it's sad from a perspective of like Thai boy love dramas and stuff that they're stretching. They're going outside of the comfort zone. Like the comfort zone in Thailand is very much college stories, high school stories, coming of age. And they were doing grown-ups, adults with careers, being adults. And it's like, oh, this is exciting. This could take us in a new direction. And I just feel like if this doesn't do well now, they're not going to blame the show for being poorly put together. They're going to go, see, we got to go back to college. Like, it's, what can we do? Sorry. And it's like, no.
It's like every time, like, you know, in Hollywood, where they'll be like, okay, let's put like a person of color as the lead, but the movie really sucks. And so when the movie doesn't do well, they're like, well, this is why we can't have people of color as leads, or this is why we can't have female directors and stuff. And you're just like, maybe if you just made a good thing, you could.
Maybe if you didn't fail them.
Maybe you could just make it good. You know, it's not that hard.
And like, I will say, it wasn't excruciating to watch this show by any means. I feel like we have been talking a lot about like the negative impacts, but it like definitely wasn't. However, I definitely never got like the feel of I would ever binge this show.
I'm gonna keep watching it, but that's just because I want to support the actors even if this show is bad.
I want to see where the show goes, but I would never want to click more than one episode
at a time.
And yeah, it's not a lot of shows do that for me because I'm like that I'm a binger, have already dropped. Like I'm a pretty binger, but I also like to be like random sporadic. But it just never was like now I have to like go to the second episode because I'm like on the edge of my seat. I'm just like, I'd like to know what happens.
I will say I thought the pace of episode 1 was at least going to continue into episode 2 and 3.
No.
And it did not.
It takes a really, really freaking weird, like, and it had moments that were like, that could have been so much better than they were. Like, spoiler alert, this is spoiler alert coming. Like, when he's, like, attacked in his home, and then also, like, threatened in the hospital, that could have been like really tense and like, really built that up.
But it didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, there wasn't anything.
Like, it was tense when the thing was happening, but then it would like dissipate immediately afterwards.
They didn't carry that tension forward.
One thing I will say, and I watched 2 of the episodes today, so I don't remember where, but there was a point I did feel like he was being gaslighted by like everyone around him, or he kind of.
Yeah.
It's when he got attacked at the hospital and pretty much no one saw it happen or whatever. But he's like, dude, like anytime he would say, no, this is a thing. And everyone's like, no, it's not. Or kind of like, well, we're just going to close the case because we can. It's like, no, we're not going to. Well, it felt like 2 episodes of him just arguing with people and getting nowhere.
In the first episode with the reporter coming to talk to him, and he's like, no, like that's privileged information and I can't share that with you. And he's like, well, you're telling the cops. And he's like, yeah, because that's my job. Like, but then his boss comes to him and is like, why didn't you talk to the reporter? And he's like, because I'm not supposed to. It's illegal. Like, why?
The reporters are really weird in this show. Like, really weird. Usually I don't like reporter roles because, like, most shows, the trope is to allow the reporters to be terrible human beings with no sense of morals, and they never give them any morals, but every character just accepts them for who they are or whatever, and I hate that trope. But, like, these reporters are just weird. They show up at random and you're like, but am I supposed to be like thinking you're a problem? Like, are you going to come back and cause disruptions like a normal reporter will, or you're just going to come into some random person's school and take pictures of kids? You going to do that? Like, that's the thing that we're going to do?
It just felt creepy. Like,
yeah.
Not murder suspicious creepy, but like creepy.
Yeah. Like, but like also I'm like, are you the killer then? Yeah. Like, am I supposed to be thinking that?
Yeah.
What's going on?
That's what I'm struggling with, is that there's probably 3 different characters that I actually believe could be the killer, but all 3 of them would require this storytelling to be a little tighter and more twisty than I actually think the show is going to give me. So then I'm like, okay, well,
it's like all we know. It's not the main dude. That's the only one we know. We know didn't kill him.
Yeah, how much am I supposed to be reading into all these characters? Is this a thing where like I'm actually reading into it more than and like confusing myself because they're a little bit smarter at things?
Like, I want there to be more to it than there actually is, or is it just actually the creepy guy with the creepy looking mustache? Like, are they just making it that obvious? We gave one character a creepy mustache. He's the one. Figure it out. Like, okay.
But then you're like also sitting there quietly going, maybe it's not just as a nice, like, fun thing to keep these episodes interesting. Right. Like, please be something different. Okay, maybe not. I guess.
Yeah.
Bye.
We don't have to talk about what the reveal was, but there was a reveal, I think, in episode 3 that I think the character that was supposed to be revealed doing something, my recognition of the person they were trying to show, the camera angle wasn't quite right enough to where, like, and since I'm not familiar with all these actors, repeatedly,
yeah,
I'm pretty sure there was a reveal, and I was like, was this a reveal? Like, Was this someone I've seen? I don't know. Right.
Was I supposed to know something from this? I'm so
right. Was I supposed to glean information from this moment? I don't know. And I just had to give up.
Like, listen, none of us know. None of us know.
A lot of times with a show, like with a mystery show, it's often the music that cues you that this is something you should be paying attention to. This is a reveal. No. But the music is so back and forth and all over the place on this that I don't know if that's what, you know, like, are they trying to make me think this person is creepy or romantic? I don't know, because
it's very confusing.
All over the place. And
extremely confusing.
Going back to what Jesse said about the end of episode 3, and this isn't a reveal, like nothing was happening at the end of episode 3, but the way the music did, because it was pretty much like they kind of had a normal conversation with zero tension, and then all of a sudden the music was like the exact same music at the end of the other episodes when there was something big going on. It was the exact same music. It was their closing music of dun dun dun, and it was like, it felt like a parody almost at that point. Like, I laughed out loud at it.
And they did that thing where they kind of tried to, like, still screen it, too. And it was like, what's going to happen? But it's like, the music was already like a dubstep kind of like, and then it went into the outro stuff. And I'm like, okay. And
like, you know, whoever they hired to do the sound on this needs to be fired immediately. They are doing a terrible job.
Just tell them to stop. Just at this point, just like pick one thing and like quietly have it on in the background, and then don't even do anything else. Like
that's it. That's all.
Step away from the editing, sir.
So here's my question. Mm-hmm. The way the story has been handled so far, we're definitely kind of let down a bit by how it's not been cohesive and tight and all these things. Do you think that as the episodes go on, there's a possibility for the show to become more enjoyable of a watch?
I think there is.
I could see that.
They'll have to work real hard, though.
I could see like the suspense happening, so maybe there's a lot more plot points that are just like on the horizon that like will like be something you want to pay attention to, even if it's kind of like not as great as a portrayal of it as it could be. I'm definitely interested to see why everything is happening. Like like, it's just like there's nothing been like telling me why this is happening. It's just kind of there. So I'm like, why did she potentially not kill herself? Like, is it tied to him because he's just back? And why doesn't anybody like question that? And I'm trying to go into like Western like crime shows terms, or like, is there going to be a point where they're all fingers like point to him? But I don't. There's just a lot of like unsolved that like I just want to know. That's not the like mystery of what the show is supposed to be doing.
Right.
Making me like want to know that. It's more of my curiosity. Just
you're like, I just want to know, you know.
I need to know what are we trying to do here? Like,
well, I think a simple example of, and I'm coming at this even as someone who obviously watches a lot of dramas, and I know that they will omit information, not like of a mystery, but just omit information to keep you interested sometimes.
Yeah.
But it felt like even from episode 1, the science teacher's relationship with Jane, I feel like there were lots of opportunities for someone to be like, I'm not the boyfriend.
Yeah.
Well,
and I know in dramas that we typically don't make it easy, but like,
it actually
there were too many options.
It actually, like, in the novel, I don't want to keep harping back to the novel because it, like, reveals things that I assume are still going to be part, because they were a pretty big part of the actual novel. It actually makes a lot of sense. Reveal.
Okay.
Yeah, in the novel, it makes a lot of sense why he does that. You find out later on why he has done this.
I find it, while I was watching the first episode, to me, it felt stranger to me because watching it, I didn't necessarily get that Jane was pining for him or anything, just that they were like besties from high school or something. So it's like, why hasn't she told him that she has a hot boyfriend? Like, if this is her boyfriend, if Max is your boyfriend, you tell people that he's your boyfriend.
Be like, hey, see this hot dude?
Look what I caught. This is on my arm. This is my boyfriend. I mean, and also for me watching and thinking that Tull was obviously out and obviously gay and his friends all knew he was gay, I thought, especially your gay best friend, you're going to say, this one is taken, hands off, right? Like, so that's what confused me. Because I was like, why wouldn't she introduce him as her boyfriend? This is my boyfriend, Max. He works at school with me. Like, well, she wouldn't call him Max, but you know, like, I was just like, I don't.
Tan. His name is Tan.
Yeah, like, why wouldn't you say that? Like, it didn't make sense to me. So then when they're like, this is her boyfriend, it was like, he's been home for a week. He's met with his best friend and talked to her on the phone like 4 times. Like, at no point she said, hey, and I have a boyfriend. Like, come on. That doesn't seem real.
No, I think it was pretty obvious during the restaurant scene because she gave him a book that she's been holding on for 15 years. And he was like, you still have this?
Yeah.
And they made a point. This is where they tried to do the little clue thing. Made a point of showing the Little Mermaid keychain on her bag. And then when you, like, at the end, when you, like, he goes into the room, they purposely show the bag with the keychain on it. But, like, that was definitely, like, very clear that she had feelings for him for that long and she had held on to them. So even if she has a boyfriend, this guy has just come back. They literally, it had only been a couple of days and this is the person she's been in love with.
Yeah, and see, I just did not get that from the first episode at all. Like, nothing about it.
That, like, thing when she gave that book and she was, like, being bashful about it. There was a lot in that scene where it was, like, you could tell this was it. And then I was like, oh, okay. But I think that also the thing was that, like, they were trying to make these characters, like, who they had given you nothing for at this point. So I'm like, at this point, if I didn't know that this person was a big actor, I just think he was a side character, like, just here at the party. Like, they never gave me anything to make me, like, care to, like, question it. And then all of a sudden he's beating up someone. And the main guy's, like, worried about it. And we're like, what's going on? You never gave me something to care about for this guy because
it happened
literally
really fast. That beating
literally
up
didn't
scene,
even give me anything with him.
Like, what? Well, it's like he should just appear out of nowhere. Like, there's so many ways the show could be good, and it's just frustratingly not.
Even within the script conversations where, of course, the medical examiner character would really try to kind of back somebody into a corner and get answers out of somebody. And no one would ever give any answers at all. Nothing. There'd be tension of like, hey, I like need to know this specific thing, and then pretty much by the end of the conversation, the person wiggled out of it again.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. That's kind of how the novel is too, where no one will tell him anything. But he just gets a lot of
frustrated about it because, like,
he's like,
it kind of just seems like he's like, well, I guess this is life. Yeah, and moves on.
No. Like in the novel, it's not so much that he's frustrated; is that people are like he's constantly being threatened. And people around him then start to get threatened and things start happening to people around him. And so then he gets worried like, oh shit, like in order for like these people not to, you know, get hurt, should I just do what these people want me to do? So it's more of an internalized struggle with him, less than a externalized other people frustrating him thing. It's more like, first he's like, oh, well, I'm a bad bitch. You can't kill me, you know, like, and then he's like, oh, maybe they fucking can kill me. it's like, oh shit, maybe you can kill like my 4 friends that I have in this town. Oh fuck. So it's just like,
so that's maybe where the internal monologue stuff from the very beginning of the first episode could have worked more for the story if it had continued.
Definitely not in that tone, though.
No,
not in the,
no, like there's a way that could have been noir so good, thing, right?
Like, yeah, I can like see how this show should have started and been good. Okay, so it starts with this same like like, yeah, finally back, I'm here, I'm gonna be the medical examiner, like, and then in the novel it goes on more about why he wants to be a medical examiner when everyone else thinks like being a coroner is hella creepy, and he's like, I'm kind of bad with people, but when they're dead they don't care if you're awkward. And
he definitely doesn't ever seem that he's bad with people. That's not a thing on this show.
No. So
it's fine,
so
he doesn't have to, but
yeah, it's fine, like, if they want to change that, because like, he's
it's like, whatever.
Very good looking man, very charismatic, you can tell. It's fine. Moving on. So if he does that, and then it's like, if he's in the car giving his like, yeah, like I'm here, blah, blah, blah. And then he gets the call and then goes to the dead body. That would have been a good beginning to the show.
I've also seen it like if it was more of like a very analytical, like,
and because
like a doctor writing in his journal, like that kind of like a thing that would be above it, because it's like right now it's I kind of feel like you like hear these stories like on Dateline where like everybody will be like, literally this person had no one who hated them, like, and there's nothing like you can like grasp your fingers on like who would actually be doing this to this person, and that's how it is. You're like, there hasn't even been an inkling of anything, and he's literally been here for like 2 days. How is this all happening?
And then it's in the novel they go through that, like, why would this, like, first of all he's like, why would this person kill themselves? So he's like intrigued by it, because he's like, no, this was definitely murder. Like from like the first minute that he's there, he's like, this is murder. Like I've never been wrong. This is murder. And
they
then he's
thought
like,
it was murder.
And he's like, I'm real sus about the boyfriend, because
usually is.
The boyfriend to the husband. That's how these things go. And then the boyfriend's like, no, man,
not me.
Not me.
Didn't you see me beating up that guy?
No, but that's not that. None of that is in the novel. None of that. There's none of that. Like, he is friends with the prosecutor dude in the novel. In the novel, they are friends. But
I will say, out of the gate, prosecutor dude has been super shady. Like,
so shady.
I know.
And it's not just his mustache. He's just shady.
I mean, watching just the first episode, and so, like, I don't know, I could be completely off base, but I'm like, okay, so it's him, and he was having sex with the girl from high school, and then he forced her into some, like, shady backstreet abortion or something, and that's what killed her. And the teacher knew that he was dating the girl, and that's why the teacher got killed. So I'm like, maybe it'll surprise me in the next 13 episodes,
and also,
but I don't think so.
Yeah, also that whole side plot about the teenagers, that's
not in the book. Hey?
I'm gonna be honest, I got no idea where that's going, because like that was not in the novel.
That's
whatsoever.
definitely a plot, because this isn't really
actually an interesting plot. That's probably the most interesting part of the show. You're like, how are these teenage girls involved in this plot? Like,
so whenever Jane's desk is getting cleaned off, you see a picture of the teenagers, like a framed picture of the teenagers. It's like, that's not really normal for a teacher to have, like, of a special group of students, just 4 students or whatever, on her desk. Like, that's not typical. Yeah. Who knows what's up with the, like, kids?
I guess this is the pro of this show, is that you won't have spoiled yourself if you read the book.
Yeah, because it's going on a wildly different journey than the book did. Because I was like, me, I don't give a shit about spoilers at all. I'm like, yeah, spoil me, who cares? It's not going to stop me from watching something. So I'm like, okay, I'll just read the novel, like, to see what I'm in for. And then I read the novel, and I really enjoyed it. I was like, oh, okay, this looks like it's going to be fun. And I watched the first 4 episodes. And I was like, okay.
I'm going to ask this. Do things happen in the 4th episode?
Yeah, what are we missing in the 4th
because,
episode?
Like, in the 2nd and 3rd episode, only a very few things occur.
Like, a few things happen, but literally nothing that happens in the 4th episode is in the novels at all. I don't know what's going on here.
So WeTV's 1.5 times speed watching is gonna be your friend, guys. Like,
yeah, like, you know. And it's like, and it kind of makes me sad because you can feel like when you're watching it, like even if they added all this stuff, you feel there's like you can feel how it could be good. It's just not, and it has nothing to do with the actors because like the actors all work well together. You can tell they know how to act. You're just like, okay, first of all, the sound design really leaves a bad taste in your mouth. I'm gonna be honest.
Just like a cherry on the top.
And like it gets like slightly better as you go on, but not really. Like the first episode, I was like, oh boy, like this sounds like my first, my movie project sound design. And it got slightly better, but not that much. I'm just like, oh boy.
Is it pretty much a combination of editing, not the sound, but like show editing and some of the writing?
I think it's the writer, showrunner, or whatever system that Thailand uses for their films. Whoever is the person who guides the script journey. Yeah. I think it's a combination of those and maybe time. Yeah. Or money budgetary where they pulled other forces on hoping that the famous pair would be bringing in the money, so they like decided not to look at the script. They just knew that they would get the money from it. I think that's what it is.
You know what I feel really bad for in this whole thing is the author of the actual novel, because she has been out there being like, I'm so excited, like, I love these guys, like, I'm so excited. I'm sitting here watching this and being like, oh, honey.
Oh, and I mean, when they said that they were making this book into a show, like everybody was like, please Max Tull, like give it to grown-ups, because that's another thing that Thai shows will do. Like, here's a doctor and it's played by a 21-year-old actor and you're like, come on, this is not Doogie Howser, like, come on. And so like it was like, oh, adults, and they're like doctors, and they're ooh, okay, like Max Tull, let them be adults, let's cast some grown-ups, yay. And then they did, and we were so excited. We were like, it's like Christmas, like it all came true.
And it's like, and the other things in the novel, the novel doesn't have any of that like, I'm only gay for you bullshit that all these Thai shows pull, where it's like, just say you're bi and move on. Like, this isn't Jesus. Just why is this still a plot? And then it doesn't have any of like the weird, like, like gross
consent issues.
Consent issues that a lot of BL has. It's not even a BL novel, which I think is a nice change of pace. It's literally just a novel where the characters happen to be gay, and them being gay really isn't a central plot of the show or of the novel.
And I think because you guys had said that before we started, watching the show, that's the hope I had of like, cool, a crime show.
Yeah. That was the hope I had.
Where then like, the characters are gay. Awesome. Like,
they were being a normal thing.
They're being normal,
like,
people.
And not like characterized. And I know, like, I like when the underrepresented is just characterized as just people. Normal, like just people. Like, and it's not like there's like a stopping point for people being gay. So why is it always like younger kids? Like,
and to be honest, like that part of the show is fine. Like, you're just like, okay, this guy's gay, whatever. Like he's just a dude who likes other dudes.
Yeah.
But I will say they tried to play up the couple tension.
Yeah, like, too early. That happens way later in the novel.
They're playing with that relationship in, when I say weird ways, not bad ways, not consent issue ways, just...
No, they're just using that they have this star couple or this star pairing. That's what they're doing.
Oh, he's up in his grill for no reason. Okay.
Because like in I hate talking. I keep seeing from the novel, but like in the novel, it's like it's more about this guy is like, I need you to trust me. I need you to trust me to know that I did not murder her, and I want to help you find it who did. And so like everything that he does is less like, I want to have sex with you, and it's more, I need you to know
I think a very clear,
you can trust me, so then we can have sex.
Like an easy out for this entire thing would have been just to make those two characters have known each other from the beginning, so it wasn't weird that they were just like all of a sudden together. It's like literally he just like randomly found this guy, like, and that's it. Like there was no even like you're like, oh, your fate was really great that day, I guess. Like,
yeah, but it's important that he doesn't for any of the rest of the plot to make sense, because like I see what they're keeping from the novel, and the stuff that they're keeping, which comes up more in episode 4. So I'm the only one who's seen it because I'm the only one who has a WeTV VIP account.
For the record, without VIP, you can watch from episodes 1 to 3.
Yeah.
So it's just you're 1 week behind. So
yeah. So what they're doing is like so for VIP they get the new episode the week it airs, and then everyone else gets it the week after. It's really not. I'm just an impatient person, so I just really love Maxwell. Like literally, I just love them. And they were also my first fan fiction that I ever wrote was a Max Tull fan fiction. That
it's a really good one.
It's nothing like this. It's nothing like this. It's just like that. Much less murder. Actually, zero
murder.
Much less than 0.
Much less than there is no murder in it.
But I think Max is a teacher in that one too. So
he is actually. He's a principal. He's a principal of an elementary school.
I will say also, even as the episodes go on, and there will be like a moment of threat, and I know I kind of said this before, but there will be a moment of threat where it's like very engaging, but then as soon as that moment's gone, like all the suspense or tension that should be the aftermath of that and carry through for a long time, it seems to just go away.
Yeah, once it's gone, it's gone. They're not harping on it. They're like,
and then
we're
they
moving
move on to the next thing.
Or suddenly he would admit, I didn't sleep last night because he was scared. It's like, I wouldn't have been able to tell that your character was scared at all.
And I feel like a lot of that is less the acting and more of the directing. Like they cut from scene to scene too much. And like
there's nothing to show for it.
Yeah, they don't let scenes play out or anything. And it's like, I feel like they should really focus more on the struggle that this man should be going through, having his life held at gunpoint essentially every other day.
Another
thing,
like it would be
stressful.
Yeah, just
since the editing is not tight, and then most of the actors are really good, but when you get to like the very extra characters, like someone you're probably only going to see once, but they are getting questioned, like the head prosecutor dude, like he was okay, but it was supposed to be like a tense moment, and so you don't know if his hesitation to answer was like intentional or if that's just how he talked. He was
just trying to remember his next line.
So those side characters that you need to like either know to be suspicious of or not, kind of like we were saying earlier, pretty much everyone's just suspicious. It's like whatever,
which is fine. Like if that's what they were going for, but it's like. If they were going for like a vibe that like he doesn't know who he can trust, that would be one thing. But that's not what I think is happening here.
No, I think it's just happening by default and like just like
it's just like because it's poorly edited. Like because it's poorly edited. That's just what it's happening. Like we're just like, wow, like everyone looks kind of sus. Like
maybe that's what they're going for. It's supposed to be like a strangers from hell kind of thing. He's moved back home to the small town and now it's full of like murderers. But no, I don't think it is. So.
No, as far as that, I don't think it's getting the hot fuzz treatment whatsoever. But like,
okay, that would be good though.
That that would actually be a really good twist.
Turns out the whole like town is run on like money and like
everyone
is yeah.
I don't think that's what they're going for somehow.
Side note: I think the high school boy character is kind of funny. Like I feel like he's a little bit of a comic relief because
and he was in the novel too, by the way. Like he would show because he had in the novel. This isn't going to spoil anything. He has like a huge crush on the main dude. So he keeps just like showing up like at the hospital to be like, hey, like I just wanted to come like bring you some food and say hi, see how you're doing. And the guy's like, are you supposed to be in school? Like, why are you here? And he's like, oh, just coming to check in. just leave. Like, okay.
But my favorite moment with that character, so he got hurt, and he had this bandage on, and it was obvious that the medical examiner doctor guy was like, well, the reason you can't, like, feel your legs or whatever is this bandage is too tight on your stomach. Like, you're cutting off your circulation. But he was never that straightforward with him. He just listened and kind of chuckled under his breath and let him be stupid.
Which is kind of cute. Like,
yes, but maybe still tell the child to not do that again. Like, just a thought, because he might do that again. He's obviously not the brightest bulb.
No,
he's trying.
Like,
though.
he's not. He's trying his best. And he was also not the brightest bulb in the novel either. He was just sort of a cute dummy that just happened to become weird friends with the coroner.
I thought the coroner stuff, by the way, was pretty convincing. Like, they did a good job with all the work stuff.
Yeah, the medical stuff. That's where they put all their budget, apparently, because it seemed very accurate and very well done.
Like, we've got to pay for someone to help us with this on set, and that's it.
That's it. That's where all the budget went.
Oh,
maybe that person is also the editor, so they're busy doing all of the medical stuff, and they have to turn around and do it.
A lot of these problems could be because of COVID. Like,
they just couldn't get the people that they needed to because there's probably a lot of people that they just weren't going to get because they're like refusing to work right now, which is a very valid thing.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah.
Well, and I bet you a lot of those kinds of jobs normally you might work on 2 or 3 of different shows or something at the same time, but now they're doing it like quarantining the group together so that you can just, so you can only work on one show at a time, or you can, so I don't know, like maybe that's part of the problem too. Like, when the good guys are taken and you got to go with the 4th string.
Yeah, because like when they were filming, they were quarantined together. Like they all had to live together for the duration of the filming, which they posted delightful Instagrams about of them just.
I mean, that's a great social media device.
Yeah. No, and that's basically what it was. So they would post like videos where they'd all just be like, it would be like the Max Tull and then MD, the guy who plays the intern, like all just like sitting in bed together, like reading their scripts and stuff. Like it was just real cute. Like it was really cute. I feel a little let down by the production team on this drama because it feels like it should be so much better. And it's just...
I'm just wondering if they, if there is some room for at least some of it to be better, like within, to where it could turn around just a bit.
Maybe they'll finally get their groove and.
Yeah. Hopefully
they could,
if we believe real.
But I definitely know for pace, once you kind of figured out the production level of things, like, okay, this is what we're watching,
this is what we're working with,
but then it was like I said, episode 1 had a certain pace, and then episode 2 and 3 were in molasses land.
Episode 4 picks up a bit, but it's like not enough. We gotta get this shit moving, guys. I just want it to be so much better. I feel bad that it's not as good as it should be. Because like the promos were really good. We got had by really good promos for it. And then has those dramatic like opening like title sequence. Manner of death. Cross flying at you.
Yeah, they made it really seem like this is gonna be dark and lots of people are gonna die.
Like this is gonna be a bloodbath. And then you're just like, okay.
I mean, it sucks. His friend died. That sucks. But
let's keep going. Like I feel like we can get more out of this.
The little teenage boy, he obviously is concerned for his
female friend.
Yes.
His friend who is of the female persuasion.
Because it's obvious that she's up to something.
She's into nothing good. She's into some bad city.
But they don't, they don't give him any screen time to tease that out, like, try to talk to her again, like, just gonna let that ride. It's like, okay, that's fine.
All right then. Okay.
And then that journalist guy, it's like, oh, someone posted something on Facebook, therefore we can't do anything anymore. It's like, pretty sure people posting like a hashtag on social media doesn't do that much.
It's like, listen, I get that like the political system in Thailand is pretty corrupt right now, but like I feel like it's not that corrupt. Just putting that out there.
It's just social media, just ignore
it.
Yeah.
Like every other government does. I mean, if hashtags worked, we'd have a lot different countries that we'd be
now. If hashtags worked, we'd have a much better world, you know?
just saying.
Well, like, okay, I'm gonna be honest. It's not the worst show, or even the worst Thai show I've ever seen. It's just not that good. The actors are doing their best. You can tell that they're trying. Like, not in the sense that they're overacting or anything. You can just, like, tell that they're doing their job.
They're doing their job.
Yeah, this is what they have, and they're making the best of it.
They're not being served particularly well by the production team. This town looks wild, though. Those fucking topiaries and the crocodile.
Why did he leave?
Like, I'd be like, dude, you got creepy bears, you got gator eat. Like, what more do you want in life?
Well, and he was saying, there's not much special to this town. It's like, oh,
and then it's just like, then what the fuck is this giant bear tree and this crocodile? Tell me.
Like, he was trying to make it seem like the town from When the Weather is Fine. And you're like, no, actually, this is
no. This is like a fascinating place. I forget, because do you go to, like, the teacher's house in episode 3?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
okay.
That is a massive house.
Okay. So, like, I know he owns and runs a for-profit tutoring school. Okay. Yes. This is like a small town.
The character.
Yes, the character owns and runs a for-profit, like, cram school type thing, like university prep, exam prep place. Still, if I were, let's say, a doctor who had lived in the big city for a while, and then I go to this guy's house who's like, no, nothing suspicious about me. I'm just a small town teacher doing small town teacher things. And you arrive at this absolute fucking mansion of a house that has no furniture in it. I'd be like, I got some fucking questions.
Something's not adding up here.
What is going on here? Why is your house this nice? And why, if it's so big, do you not have a single spare bedroom? Like,
weird.
Well, it definitely felt like we only have one bed.
It was like a really like, and they were roommates.
Yeah.
Like,
no, but it felt like that. But it also felt like, and then we're gonna pretend like he might murder him in his.
Yeah, I know. We're like, but sleep with one eye open, and you're just like. So when you watch a show like this, you often put yourself in, like, the place of the characters. You're like, would I make this same decision if I was this character? And as soon as I drove up to that house, I'd be like, the fuck? This is like the nicest house I've ever seen. Like, no. Back this shit up. Something else is going on. There's no way you, on what you make, can afford this house. Something.
We'll just, like, stay in a hotel tonight.
Yeah, right? Like, and I imagine that what happened is this was the only place they could get because of COVID. But it's like, they should have made it like, oh, this is like a series of condos. And
or
he
like,
lives in one small condo.
Yeah.
But no, this house is just like the nicest house you've ever seen. And you're just like, no.
I bet you they rented out that place, and that's where they all lived in quarantine.
Yeah.
And then they just like,
and they're like, okay.
Rooms, like,
So they have like one little
they filmed
section
the
set up
whole
for
show
filming.
in there. The doctor's office is in that building somewhere. That like every set is in there.
You can't go to my other room. It's literally like
the other room is literally my other room. Like it's like, dude, we can't go to the other room. That's literally our room. Like that's where we're living already. Like for reals.
What's a little bit weird, when you were talking about the aspect of him being like coming back to my small town and there's nothing special about it or whatever. Usually you have a reason for that. Like if you're a big town doctor and you move back home, usually it's a reason, like your parent is sick or you have to somebody died and you have to put your estate in order, or you have a scandal in the big city, or you got married and you want to raise your kids in the small town atmosphere or something. But like, why would you come back? Like, I don't.
Well, because he's not making the same amount.
Yeah, like there's nothing like explaining why he would come back.
In the novel, basically, he was like kind of running away from his girlfriend and his job opportunity arose for him to be like the head coroner as versus like an assistant coroner. So he was like, all right, let's go. And everyone's like, you're so fucking creepy. Like, why do you want to work with dead bodies? And he's like, dead bodies don't give me any problems.
But they could have easily put in like 2 lines explaining that.
Yeah.
Even as far as, so you were just such and such in the city. Now you're running the show. Cool.
Yeah. Like, and he's been there. It's not just like he just got back. Like, he's been there for a little while, which is why he's now friends with the prosecutor, because he made friends with him over previous like cases and stuff. And so, like, you know,
I thought the prosecutor
in the book.
In the book, you mean?
Oh, okay. Yeah, because no, they've been like there for a week.
Yeah. No, in the novel, like, him and the prosecutor have become friends because, like, they're just, they run into each other because of their work. So, like, and then he's, so he's just, like, drinking buddy because he doesn't want anything from him except to just be.
Whereas, like, in the show, it felt like they were high school buddies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
there's, like,
that's what it seems like. They're all high school friends from high, like.
I mean, like, yeah, it has to, because it's been 15 years, like, since he's been there. That's a long time to just decide to come back. And I can see being like, okay, cool, you're getting like a better job. But if it's in a smaller town, that means he would be making the same amount he would in assisting in a larger town. And most of the time, if it's a smaller town, that actually doesn't equate to anything on your resume. Yeah. So you'd be better off at a larger city in an assistant position. Yeah, there's nothing that they're like saying that he's into it or he's been trying really hard to get back because he wants to be with his friends.
I will say there are going to be a lot of people that still enjoy the show.
Oh yes, like I'm still enjoying it regardless. Like, like I have like it's our job to nitpick,
Yes. If you're in it for Max and Tull, I mean, that first episode gave a very long panning up and down Tull's body as he dries off after the shower. And it
knows its audience.
If that's what you're here for, you're getting fed. So, yay. If you're here for crime and plot, maybe not as much.
I mean, there is a plot at least.
Yeah. There is a cohesive plot. So you're just like, is it a good one to be seen? But like, there is a plot and it does actually make sense. So like, it's ahead of some of the worst shows I've seen. Like, it's a very much in the middle of the road show.
Because definitely the expectations of the show were pretty much, it would have been a good intro to like Thailand dramas. Is what it was going to sound like, because especially just the crime, like it would have been a very solid show, but since major flaws, you don't want to sell, this is what all Thailand shows are like.
Well, like, I mean, if I was going to go off the top of my head, something that was easy, I mean, you might not like it, but like Unlucky Ploy would be an easier sell in a sense. Like at least it was clean, like put together, so I don't know.
No, I could get what Sky's saying. Like, in terms of a plot, this is a better introductory to someone who's a Western audience thing. Unlucky Ploy is not.
Yeah.
Like, that's, even if it's like a better written and well produced, like, it's definitely not what you would try for Manner of Death. Because Manner of Death really is like, you can tell they are heavily influenced by CSI. They're
and there are elements of it that are fun. So it's not like it's a pain. It's not like it's hard to watch it. Like, it's not like you're struggling. Like, it's, when you watch one of those shows that you're like, oh, sweet Jesus, how am I going to get through this? You're just like, okay, yeah, fine. Okay, sure. It's a little slow, but yeah, okay, good. Moving on. Oh, that's a kind of weird vibe, but all right, keep going. Like, so you just...
I'm not blaming that we had high expectations, but I think that's something... Like if you didn't have any expectations going in, if you didn't know about it beforehand, and let's say that you weren't, I mean, you guys knowing the actors definitely gives you expectations anyway. But even if you just went in with the actor expectations and that was it would still might have had a better chance at like how you felt about how it ended up playing out.
Yeah.
But because the novel and all that was such high quality storytelling, sounds like.
Yeah.
And then you get teasers of a certain caliber, so you put those two things together plus headliners, you think it's going to be like top quality.
And we were sold a bill of goods, and the bill of goods was bad. No, it's more like, and the bill of goods
is okay.
Was fine.
Mediocre.
It was acceptable.
I mean,
could be worse.
I watched the first episode like 3 weeks ago or whatever when it first aired, and I was like, okay. And then I completely forgot about it until this week, and I was like, oh yeah, we're doing it. I should rewatch the first episode to like have it fresh in my head. But I didn't feel like, okay, and now I got to watch the second, or like, and I didn't like last week. I wasn't like chomping at the bit to get back to it. I kind of basically just forgot about it. Will I keep watching it if I remember? Yeah, I will.
Like I will, because like, you know me, I've already started it. Might as well. Like, I have WeTV VIP anyway, so
I mean,
I'll just use it.
I could foresee myself keeping up with it. I'm obviously not going to keep up with it new because it's definitely farther on my list. I have other things to watch, and also it's definitely not worth paying for the VIP.
No, I didn't get the VIP for this show.
Yeah, and no, I know. But I'm saying for me personally, like, it's not worth it to like be on top of it for the week. I'm fine with being weeks behind. And,
Me too.
So
exactly.
Like,
I will say for me, because the actors are across the board, most of the main actors in the show are pretty good, and that's often how I enjoy a show. Is like I feel like characterizations, if they're doing a good job, that in and of itself can make me interested in the show, at least for a bit. Often that doesn't help me finish out a show, but it'll keep me interested for a while.
It'll keep you going. Like, and you know what? The show could pick up. Like, it could suddenly, like, episode 6 become, like, a real fucking banger. Like, we don't know. We'll see. To be seen.
I guess just because they hired people they hired and stuff, I really do wonder if they'll be able to turn it around on some level. Like, at least, all of a sudden, here's suspense that we haven't really felt until now. Like, they really might.
Like, I am really interested to see where this, like, teenage girl plot goes, because I'm just like, okay, there's something going on. Like, is it a drug ring? Is it a prostitution ring? Is it human trafficking? We don't know. We're gonna find out. Like, it's gotta be one of those, right? Like, I'm not.
Yeah.
Gotta be one
probably.
of those. It's gotta be one of those.
Probably.
Like,
no, I think the fact that the actors are doing well is what is helping this show.
Yeah. If it was, like, mediocre actors in a mediocre show,
out. I'd be like,
I'd just be like,
Vaughn.
Peace.
It's been a good one, Miss. See ya. Like,
everybody else, if you're having enjoy it. It's
enjoy.
Cool.
You know,
I'm just leaving the room now.
We're just gonna go.
Or maybe because you would hope that they would also make other crime dramas someday. You would maybe play it in the background.
Yeah, just like, because I'm like, okay, I want more. I want more in this genre.
Play it when I'm not paying attention, so that you know.
So they get our views.
So they get the ratings. Yep.
Yes, give us more crime with gay characters.
Yeah,
I do want that.
That sounds great. That sounds like something I'd be into.
Okay, what I would be interested in is an already established couple and the crime. Or alternatively, here's my niche if you want to get on like romance, is the pining for your coworker.
Ooh, yes!
Because there's the tension that you both are in a position that could result in death. So there's always that like line, because you also have to be professional to keep each other safe. But the person you love,
that's what I thought the story was. I thought the story was the coroner and the cop who was investigating. I thought that's the character that, like, because I hadn't read the book, so that's what I thought it was that the two of them together are investigating. You know, that it was like a
also the only
sort of situation.
Only the only person in our group chat who's also read the novel, because we're all like, oh, like, what's gonna happen? I'm like, I don't know. Kids out.
Yeah.
I have to find out. They're all like, goddamn you, Natalia. It's fine.
It's established fine. Relationships in the work, like established relationship, but then how you said, actually just a pining mutual trust, but like, yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, like you don't see a lot of dramas that like start off with already established romances. They always have to do that. Like, I get that, like, you wanting to get the couple to be together, but nobody rom-coms. This is the biggest problem on rom-coms romances is that you know that they're getting together. There's never a chance that they're not. So like, what? Yeah, I'm not in it. Like, there's no investment because like I already know how it's going to end. It's just there. But like, there's this that mystery of it could not happening, and you're like that tension.
And then will one of them die?
Yeah, will one of them die too? Oh gosh, it's just like, but also I'm like, I'm cool with like seeing people just already being together, so there's no tension. It's just them being them, you know?
Like or if it's like a workplace romance where they're like keeping their romance a secret because of like their coworkers, like especially like two gay cops, like, ooh, the tension of being found out as part of like the delicious.
Like still the time that you would be pining with people with like cute like scenes of them together, like on the couch watching movies. Like that. Yeah, this is the romance that I need that I just won't ever get.
There is not nearly enough like domestic couple romance, like just give us domestic
romance,
couples,
and I don't need antics. I don't
already
need the comedy
established.
Antics.
Just please give us the goods,
or like put it within a crime drama, and then there's romance, but it doesn't have to be like the center of attention. It's just it is.
It just is. It's a thing that's existing.
I mean, you do see it, but it's always the minor characters. It's never the first character that you see. Until like later on, Bones would be an example of, you know, that. But just be nice. That's what Jesse wants. You know, if anybody's listening, maybe help me out.
We got Jesse, Natalia, Sky. Do you want this too?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, Amanda. Amanda looks like she's about to cry with the knowledge that this could exist but doesn't. If anyone out there who listens to us works in, you know, these sorts of fields, please just give it to us. Please.
Also, reach out to us, and we would love to talk to you.
Yeah, we would about potential sponsorship opportunities. You know,
it's a little thing.
Or heck, just come to a guest spot. It's cool.
We're cool. Like, come on down to Funtown. We're here. We want to talk to you. Anyway, thank you for taking time out of your week to come listen to us gab about the newest thing in Asian entertainment, which this week was a Thai show called Manner of Death. If you would like to listen to us somewhere else, we're all podcasts can be found, but you can, of course, go to CertifiedNoonas.com to find all of the links to everything that we talk about on the show, as well as other fun things that we put on the blog for y'all. We also have all the show notes. Jesse puts them out and all the time codes and everything. So if you don't want to hear any spoilers, and we are talking about spoilers, that's probably a good guide. Or you can just wait till you watch it and then come on back. If you want to become an official sponsor of this podcast, you can go to ko-fi.com/CertifiedNoonas to become a member of our official fan family. We love everyone over there on Coffee who keeps the lights on, as it were. And, you know, our heart beats with them because friends are the family you choose, right? And they've chosen us as their podcast of choice, and we love and appreciate every single one of them. We hope you have a fantastic week and keep enjoying Asian entertainment. All right, bye.
Bye.